And here we go, guys, on Antiga Shipyard in the lower right, in the red from the team Acer. He's afraid his government is out to get him. Some people call that paranoid. Or maybe he's just afraid his fans are stalking him. That's more of a StarCraft 2 thing, right? Because
it has
a ton of fans. But anyway, on the right side of the map in the yellow, from Eclypsia, taking down Elfie, no small feat. It is KenZy. He's like, our names rhyme, you must die.
And KenZy played really well last time. He just threw Elfie so off balance, and Elfie is a player who definitely plays to that kind of strategy as well. He's pretty unpredictable, but he's got a lot of very versatile builds that he has mastered. So I think KenZy really took the right approach there, and this is going to be the fastest Overlord handshake ever.
They're not even going to have time, man. It's just going to be a high five. Actually, they're going a little bit too far away. They're like, hey, over there.
Hey, I see you. No, I don't actually. You're in the fucking war.
Oh, we don't see each other. Hey, it's on Nugget Tower.
So depressing.
They're like calling to each other, and they're like, you out there? And the other one's like, yes. That's what the Overlords sound like, of course. So
I like how they speak English still on top of it, though.
Of course, so why don't they?
Yeah.
Hey,
it's America. We all speak English here.
If they need a Zerg voice actor for the units, Blizzard, let me know. I'll be like, drone.
I can't wait for that. Sound. Really? So they're like Pokemon. They just say their name over and over again.
Right. Zergling. They're perfect, actually. So Diapollo and I actually were conversing on Skype the other day about ZVZ after the patch, and kind of wondering about what the role that Queens are going to play now.
Okay.
And some of the things that we talked about were the possibility that possibly Zerg players would be more inclined to skip banelings early on. It still might be a bit dangerous, but with the Queen range, if you just make a few more of them and maybe, use a little bit earlier Evo chamber to put near your wall, things like that, narrow the choke a bit, you might be able to handle some of the typical, just baneling aggression early on. Not like a baneling all in, but baneling aggression early on that you may have needed your own banelings to handle otherwise, thereby saving your gas, allowing you to tech faster, possibly to like Mutalisks or something like that. Okay. So, we might maybe see something like that. The thing that I was experimenting with was that in Roach versus Roach Wars, now Queens can actually stand directly behind the Roaches and because of their range, hit the opposing Roaches. So, Queens do a decent amount of damage. They have a decent amount of health. They can transfuse the Roaches in front of them. Could we possibly see something like a fast creep push with Roach Queen across the map now? All this stuff sounds really out there and crazy, but you know what? Reactor Hellion Expand seemed a little bit crazy initially too, right? I mean,
you have offended my sensibilities, and I don't think I can be part of this anymore.
Sounded crazy initially.
My world is shattered. I'm sorry.
Hey man, I'm just saying Queens are very different now with that 5 range, and who can only know where that will take us?
That's
in StarCraft 2.
Well, a little bit of a difference in the two builds so far. Paranoid actually decided to go for a 15-hatch 16 pool. His opponent went for a 15-hatch 14 pool, so Paranoid wanted to get a couple additional workers out there, and of course he did start mining gas a bit earlier as well, so his Zergling speed is just a hair ahead. But, of course, that little economic benefit has come back in a little way for him as he's able to start a few additional units a little bit quicker on. But otherwise, nothing really different between these two players. They're both steadily mining off of one gas. See if they pull off after that. No Baneling Nest coming up now for KenZy, and Paranoid, we'll see if he goes down the same route.
Well, yeah, usually if you go hatch first, it's pretty rare not to get a Baneling Nest. Yep, there it is for Paranoid. So we're going to see a fairly normal ZVZ, but keep in mind, again, look at how easy it was for the Queens to pick off that Zergling before he got in. So easy, they missed the other one completely, and he got into the base and saw everything anyway. But my point remains that the Queens with 5 range now are going to be so good. Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Who was our lucky drone? There he is.
Beatdown, man.
It's a stone-cold killer right there.
Predator drone. All right. It means he's unmanned. He's piloted remotely. By the Overmind, that actually makes sense. So,
well done.
Queens, 5 range.
Yes, them.
They can focus down banelings.
Yes, they can.
Easier than before. They can actually kill workers before they get in the base.
Yes, they can. These are all facts.
I don't know. I know I'm talking a lot about it, but I'm excited about the role that Queens could possibly play in ZVZ now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was there when you were doing your tests on the Roaches and keeping the Queens behind and stuff like that.
Looks weird, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's very odd to see.
Yeah, especially their little shots now. Their arms are useless. All right, well, few speedlings are going to
aren't they?
few speedlings are going to try and get in for KenZy, but of course Paranoid already has his up as well, so won't get a ton of damage done. In fact, actually just ducking away and taking a few losses in the process.
Well, he saw everything, but yeah, it was quite a sacrifice to see everything. Usually you don't want to lose that many Zerglings, but you know, to be fair to him, he didn't really have an opportunity to kill off a drone. I mean, if he would have stopped to kill one, he probably would have just lost all his Zerglings immediately right there, and maybe not even killed the drone. So he had to kind of cut his losses, and he did get a good scout out of it, too. A very fast third from KenZy as well. Interesting.
Yeah, and he's going to play behind a few defensive banelings for now, so already has a few of those up. Looks like Paranoid trying to make his way over towards that third, though, making a few banelings of his own, and KenZy going to be able to pick up on that very quickly. In fact, killing those banelings before anything can happen, and Paranoid does manage to duck out of there before the banelings connect.
This fast third and fast lair from KenZy is so interesting. This is something we almost never, ever see. So I'm really curious to see, you know, how he's going to want to play the rest of the game out. He's going to continue to put pressure on his opponent, keep his opponent away from his base. It's going to give him time to get his upgrades and his Roach Warren down. And a quick third from Paranoid as well. Yeah, no reason not to put that down if you know your opponent isn't going to be like all in on 2 bases. But he still might have to cancel. We'll have to see if he has enough Zerglings here.
Oh, 100 and dead. Doesn't get the cancel. Here comes Paranoid, though, going to try and take out KenZy's. But the banelings are there in position. Looks like a few of the Zerglings have died, and there's enough hit points left on the hatchery. He should be able to save that, but a few more Zerglings are coming out now for Paranoid, but that was still a big loss for him.
Yeah, this is actually a little bit of a tenuous situation. Why did I suddenly forget to say that word? Tenuous situation for KenZy right now. He has less Zerglings. He doesn't really have banelings out right now. He may actually just have to give up this third. In fact, I think he will. Yeah,
all right. So both players losing their thirds. Paranoid has already restarted his, so that was a little bit of a draw there. But look at all these Zerglings, and unfortunately KenZy doesn't have any of his banelings prepared yet. They're going to be there very, very soon, though. Will he send one around the side? He does! Oh, things trying to sneak into the main, though, and it looks like Paranoid is going to lose the rest of his Zerglings.
Oh, banelings, though, coming into the mineral line for KenZy. Can he get there in time? Oh, sacrifices some Zerglings, but at least he does save a couple drones.
All right, take a look at the worker count now. It's 42 drones to 53 at the moment. We do already have a Roach Warren up, I believe, for KenZy. Let me go ahead and take a look again. Yeah, and double evolution chambers as well.
All right. Oh, you can't get through the rocks fast enough. You have to be careful. Oh, that baneling. He's like, I want to explode. Let me do my thing. Oh.
He's so angry all the time. Oh, this drone. It does go down. He's going to have to send another one that actually delays that that hatchery by quite a while, enough so that Paranoid's actually going to have his done before KenZy ever gets his up.
Paranoid did a really good job, actually, of just continuing to put a lot of pressure on KenZy, just delaying that expansion for as long as possible. He took what would have been sort of a drawback for him and turned it into an advantage. So, yeah, really nice little response in that part of the game by KenZy to handle it. He is getting his own Roach Warren up. Actually, I'm sorry, by Paranoid. Paranoid is getting his own Roach Warren up right now, and already +2 carapace as well.
+2 carapace. His opponent going for +2 weapons, though, and +1 carapace at the same time. In fact, let me go ahead and take a look at any of these Zerglings. Okay, they do have +1 carapace finished up, though. So he's getting +1 missile attacks now, as he already did get the melee attack. So, okay. Now KenZy going to have to back up and watch out here as all of his roaches are surrounded. Unfortunately, Paranoid is going to lose a lot of Zerglings here in order to get this done, but he will be able to clean up all of those roaches, actually a little bit more efficiently than I had anticipated with those +1 attacks.
Yeah, that's the danger of going roaches a little bit too quickly in ZVZ, is there is a time where you can just basically be overwhelmed by Zerglings. If they do get us around, he has to cancel the third again.
I don't even think it was canceled.
Yeah, I don't think so either, actually. Things kind of spiraling a little bit out of control for Paranoid right now. He's losing a lot of units. Yeah, and a lot of drones.
KenZy's certainly on the ropes now. He's down by 12 workers and a base at the moment. He's going to be behind in upgrades and tech here momentarily. And KenZy, wow, actually going to lose a few additional drones as well. Oh, well, the Zerglings pulled off the line automatically to go after the roaches, unfortunately. But still, quite a bit of damage done. Reinforcements continuing to come in as well.
Yep, and Paranoid, yeah, just continuing to send in those, excuse me, those Zerglings. He needs to group up a little bit like this. This is a trap that a lot of Zerg players fall into. They get a little bit of an advantage against a player that's going roaches, and then just start getting little groups of Zerglings killed off while their opponent's roach numbers continue growing. Now, KenZy is being very brave sending out these roaches here on the map right now. I'll have to see how it works out.
Well, he picks off a couple of Zerglings there, and Paranoid running away at the moment. He has already started his own creep spread quite efficiently. He finally has 15 roaches out on the field, an additional 8 on the way, so he's going to be caught up to his opponent very quickly, but of course, he's going to be sitting on some pretty good upgrades himself, +2 Carapace, +1 missile attacks coming up now.
Oh yeah, and Paranoid is just miles ahead at this point. He's got his 4th base on the way before KenZy even has a 3rd up and running, and more Zerglings continuing to do aggression in the mineral line.
Yeah.
That whole position, making sure that they can hit as many drones as possible. Doesn't look like they're going to get a whole lot of worker kills, but you know, it still does pull back the forces of Paranoid's opponent. It still does kill a few more workers. He's up to 20 drone kills now, and he's just able to make units right now. He's got enough drones to sit on 3 bases and just worry about upgrades and offensive units, which just puts him at a really good spot versus his opponent.
And KenZy has not killed a single worker as well, so pretty important to note. So upgrades pretty much even for our 2 players now, and looks like Paranoid does have the better concave at the moment. Does he have the numbers to win out in this gauge? And with the reinforcements that are coming in, most certainly he will lose a few of his roaches initially, but now with those Zerglings bouncing in behind, you know, KenZy's going to have a very difficult time continuing to reinforce this over and over again. So
keep in mind, though, that these roaches are +2 weapon, +1 carapace, too, so they are very strong roaches. As you can see, look at that. Just powering through so many of Paranoid's units, but you're right in that Paranoid just may have too much stuff at this point. It may not really matter.
Yeah, he's just continuing to reinforce like mad now as the roach number starting to slowly dwindle. For KenZy being overrun, an additional 22 lings and 12 roaches now coming up for Paranoid as well. Still has a couple of his own roaches still sitting around with very, very nice upgrades coming up.
You know, one little mistake, though, that Paranoid's kind of been consistently making in this game is to continue to try to stream units across and just continue attacking when he really should pull back and group up a little bit. In a ZVZ, perhaps more than any other matchup, you have to be careful not to just rally units in at bad times. Your opponent's reinforcements come a lot faster than yours do. If they've got an overwhelming advantage, you're just kind of sending them into a meat grinder. So Paranoid needs to be a little bit more careful with that in his play, but he's so far ahead. I mean, we'll have to see how this goes, but he's just got a huge lead.
Yeah, he really does. So starting to make his way up and continue to poke at a couple of these units. Banelings are going to try and soften up these roaches a bit, and they do, but it's not going to be enough. Very mannered, though. KenZy, I've got to say, good debut for him. Eclypsia does go down once again. Paranoid taking a game back for Acer. And, but yeah, no, good debut for KenZy. He does manage to knock out Elfie and proves to be very